You know, yesterday, cocaine Mitch McConnell had called a vote of the Green New Deal, this absurd thing that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez wrote and proposed, right? Got no votes. Even some Democrats voted against it. All the other Democrats voted present. They didn't want to have to say anything. And Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez said, she said, oh, I told them to vote present, like they're all marching to her orders. Mike Lee, Senator Mike Lee, God love the guy. He got up and gave a speech that was as hilarious as anything I've seen in the Senate. I wish I could play the whole thing, go online and watch it. But this is just a minute of this speech where he addressed the Green New Deal with, as he says, the seriousness it deserves.
I rise today to consider the Green New Deal with the seriousness it deserves. This is, of course, a picture of former President Ronald Reagan naturally firing a machine gun while riding on the back of a dinosaur. You'll notice a couple of important features here. First of all, the rocket launcher strapped to President Reagan's back, and then the stirring, unmistakable patriotism of the velociraptor holding up a tattered American flag, a symbol of all it means to be an American. Now, critics might quibble with this depiction of the climactic battle of the Cold War, because while awesome, in real life, there was no climactic battle. There was no battle with or without velociraptors. The Cold War, as we all know, was won without firing a shot. But that quibble actually serves our purposes here today, Mr. President, because this image has as much to do with overcoming communism in the 20th century as the Green New Deal has to do with overcoming climate change in the 21st.
So he's kidding, but Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is not kidding. She just felt that it was appalling that her virtue signaling by putting forward this absurd legislation should be mocked. Her virtue signaling should be interrupted by a vote where nobody voted for this thing. But listen carefully to her response.
This is not an elitist issue. This is a quality of life issue. You want to tell people that their concern and their desire for clean air and clean water is elitist? Tell that to the kids in the South Bronx, which are suffering from the highest rates of childhood asthma in the country. Tell that to the families in Flint, whose kids have their blood is ascending in lead levels. Their brains are damaged for the rest of their lives. Call them elitist. You're telling them that those kids are trying to get on a plane to Davos? People are dying. They are dying.
Flint, Michigan, Republicans in the state of Michigan tried to save that town, Flint, Michigan. This is where you'll remember the water was filled with lead and it was poisoned because they were taking it out of a polluted river. Kevin Williamson, writing in NRO, said a word that is curiously scarce in coverage of the disaster in Flint, Michigan, Democrat. Flint, like Big Brother Detroit down the way, has a long history of political dominance by the Democratic Party. Its current mayor is a Democrat. So was her predecessor. The mayor before him, Don Williamson, was a career criminal and a Democrat who resigned under threat of recall. His immediate predecessor, Democrat James Rutherford, is a longtime politico and was elected to finish out the term of Woodrow Stanley, who was recalled because of the financial state in which he left the city. Stanley was in effect replaced by Democrat Darnell Early. On and on. It was all a Democrat disaster. And guess who kept the Flint water emergency secret? The Obama EPA. They knew about it for 6 months. They didn't release it, so people were being poisoned that whole time. It was all the Democrats. The whole thing was the Democrats. And